In previous screencasts, we've looked at various examples of inheritance. I've also mentioned composition a few times, and I've used it without bringing much attention to the term. The dependency injection earlier is using composition. We are composing an object with another one. It's defined as the act of combining parts into a whole that becomes greater than the sum of its parts. In simpler terms, you're adding functionality to your object to make it greater than either component was on their own. Where inheritance is great for ISO relationships, like a ballpoint pen is a pen, or a guest account is an account, or a car is an automobile, composition is usually what you should reach for with a has a relationship. For example, a car has a steering wheel, or a bike has a frame. It represents some sort of relationship between two objects. Now, that's not to say by any means that composition can't be used for it as a relationship, but the has a relationships tend to make themselves known faster. Since we took a pretty heavy look at inheritance earlier in the series, we're going to focus on composition mostly, but this example will indeed use both. So let's take a look at the example file. It's fairly straightforward. It requires our usual table printer, then project.php and project-repository.php. We create a new instance of the project repository and pull in all of the known projects. We then iterate over each project and add new developer as a collaborator to each project. And we can assume this is for a new hire or something of the sort. Afterwards, we iterate over each project and we're going to output the name, status, and collaborators of each. So let's take a look at this output. New developer has been added to both of the open projects, but not the last one, which is archived. Let's take a look at why this is happening. We'll open up project.php next, and here we have 4 protected properties: ID, name, archived at, and collaborators. The constructor takes an options array to pass in all of the arguments and initialize the object. Below, we can see that setName is only set if the project is marked not archived. Same for adding a collaborator. So this explains why our collaborator wasn't added to an archived project. A bit lower, we can see that the current logic for determining if a project is archived is if the archived at date is previous to now. So archived at dates in the future are still valid and open. To reopen a project, archived at just needs to be set to null. The rest of the data is unimportant for now, so let's check out the project repository class. At the top, we have the protected property projects containing 3 associative arrays representing projects, simulating coming from a data store of some sort. Then there is an all method to grab them all and return them as projects by using the factory method to instantiate them. There is a save all method which does nothing, but we can pretend that it saves them back to the data store. And the factory method is responsible for instantiating the data into project objects. Project.php seemed like the most interesting so far, so let's jump back to that. So I'm noticing reliance on the concept of project archiving and a status. We have to do these conditional checks every time we're trying to set a field or outputting status. This seems small for a class's size, but this could get pretty wild if we have a few more properties we need to check, or have to check status in many projects. It could get a bit annoying. So let's see how we can use inheritance to split apart an ISO relationship into a few subclasses. Since we have both an open state and an archive state, let's go ahead and separate these. We'll start off with class archived project, and that'll extend from project. Then we'll overload the method setName to return false, since we are not allowed to set the name on an archived project. And then we'll do the same with the addCollaborator method. And then to be verbose, we'll overload isArchive to always return true. Next, we'll make class openProject extend from project, and we'll simply overload isArchive to always return false. So let's go back and clean up our base class a bit. Let's start by cutting out these conditionals that check to see if a project is archived before calling an action. Now, some developers may choose to cut this down further, so that the base class does less by default, but I think this will suffice for us, and I prefer to keep very close feature parity and only change what I need to between subclasses. Inheritance is designed for specialization, and we're specializing what we need, leaving the rest the same. So now, just to prevent the project from being instantiated without a proper open or archive subclass, we'll declare our project to be an abstract base class, which will prevent PHP from letting it be instantiated on its own, only its subclasses. As such, openProject now represents what we used to know as a project, and archived project changes only the necessary behavior. Now we have to reopen our project repository and head down to our factory method. The problem here is that our repository does not know how to determine if an object is considered archived. Since our base object is no longer instantiable, our factory is now going to have to be responsible for making this decision. So we'll replicate the logic from the base class in more of a general form here. If the data archived at is set and the data archived at is not empty, then we'll create a variable date as a datetime from the format year, month, day, hours, minutes, seconds from the archived at time. If date is less than or equal to now, we'll return an archived project. In all other cases, we'll return an open project. Cool. So let's run the script to make sure that everything still prints out what's expected, and our archive project no longer has collaborators. Let's see what's going on there. So our little trick here of loading collaborators before the archive data set no longer works because our subclass does not set this method at all. So we'll change this implementation real quick to be a bit more straightforward. Now let's run our script again. And cool, everything still works as it's supposed to. So now let's break the base class functionality out a little bit. Let's assume a stakeholder for this project now has mentioned that when a project is archived, they want it to email all collaborators and the admin that it was archived or reopened. They also want it to send a message on a shared message queue. Well, our action of archiving just got a heck of a lot more complex. So we'll break out this functionality for archiving and reopening into a few service classes. A service object is any plain old PHP object that performs a service based on some needs that you have. Nothing else. It doesn't have to be any fancier than that. It's just a clean way to break up your code into composable, manageable chunks. Fortunately, I have these written already since they're somewhat intensive, so let's look over them real quick before integrating them into the main project object. Project Archiver takes a project as its only parameter in the constructor, and it has two public methods. The first is archive, which, like our project object, will take an optional date time or use the current time. It will then call two protected methods to tell the project to send a notice on the message queue when it is archived and send out emails at that time as well. The second public method, cancel archiving, will cancel the background jobs if it's not too late. Project Reopener has the same constructor, and then it has a single public method, reopen, which will reopen the project instantly. If a project has not yet been archived but it is scheduled, it'll create a new project archiver that cancels its tasks. Otherwise, it'll send out its own notifications. So let's see how to hook these into our project class. So we'll require both files at the top of the example.php, switch over to our project.php, and then head down to the archive method first. Now, instead of setting anything inside of here, we're going to forward the call onto our project archiver object. So we'll create a new project archiver and pass this in, so it passes in our current project. And then we'll call archive on it and pass in the date time. And that's it. We'll do the same below in reopen. We'll instantiate a new project reopener, pass in this, and then we'll invoke its reopen method. So both the archiver and reopening services are about 30 lines each, with a bunch of logic omitted. So you can see how this will keep our project class focused on what it's meant for, while still allowing it to function as a whole by composing it with these two objects. We could have done this as a decorator or by some other pattern as well, but I wanted the functionality to work the same across the base class and all subclasses unless they overload it. So this is what's best suited for us in my opinion. Okay, so let's run our example to make sure everything's still working. And yep, everything looks good. So now we have a great example of a project that uses both inheritance and composition in appropriate terms. Hopefully this can help guide you on your decisions to whether to use inheritance or composition if you need to make the decision. Remember, inheritance is for ISA relationships where it's intended to be a specialization of a base class with few changes. And composition is for HASA relationships where you'd like to augment the functionality or just take part of an existing functionality and do something completely different with it. So next episode, we're going to take a look at a design pattern that's becoming popular again lately and is referenced in here, the repository pattern.